For so long, we've been here, we've been trying to...
Hi there, and welcome to another simply exciting edition of the Springboard Hangout. The Springboard Hangout, as you know, is your fundicative program where we deal with issues that surround us. Sometimes you don't exactly know what the questions are, so we take our time and just have a chat, a chill, and say, so what's going on? So tonight is another Thursday night, and indeed we are hanging out today with a very, very special person who's going to talk to us about exciting things going on in the fintech space. My name is Comfort Okran, and welcome to the Springboard Hangout. Today, it's all about fintech. What on earth is that? And what are the opportunities for young people that we can take advantage of is what is going on today. But we first have to go for a quick break, and you know, that's the time that I give you guys to call your friends, to call your family and say, look, this particular discussion, you can't afford to miss it. So go call your people. Let us know also where you're joining us from, and we will be right back after this break. Don't go anywhere. Call your friends to join us.
Should I faint? Give us one chance to impossible. Create a twist in how the story goes. Should I bend and doubt everything I've ever hoped in just because behind me is so gloomy? Hold on. What if the greatest thing yet seen is what will come tomorrow's break of dawn? Be strong. Isn't it true that the darkest hour is the one right before the day comes up? And if I give up, the shadows will show up, and the light I should be shining will be put out by my tears. I better look up, shout out to hope, what's up? I can never give up. I am yielded more than weary. You can cry, but not for a second more. Encouragement, singing Dutera. You should pray and never worry about a thing. Anxiety has got no building skills.
Get me York's rent-a-car. I need a car in 15 minutes. Hi, I'm Jake Morris, and I travel globally. But when I'm in Ghana, York's Rent-A-Car is my reliable choice for safety and comfort on the road. York's Rent-A-Car provides comprehensive logistics services to mainly blue-chip companies as well as individual clients.
At a time we needed a car rental service, and York's fitted in very well to our standards.
Their services is top-notch. Drivers are on time.
It was beautiful to see them behind the wheels. And anytime they pick up a guest, the guests were very, very happy.
Already? Excellent. York's Rent-A-Car provides services and expertise that include meet and greet services at the airport, car rental, driver personal outsourcing, and vehicle detailing. What's the problem? It's you. I told you. York's Rent-A-Car delivers world-class service to its customers, having their highest safety and comfort in mind. So watch him. Go of us are open for him. York's Rent-A-Car runs 24/7 operations where customers can make car reservations and inquiries of our services online and also call our hotline.
go back. The word that was on my mind was fantastic, because today we are talking about fintech. So fantastic fintech, you know, and and you know it's going down. Well, I have in the studios Meghan McCormick, who is the CEO of
Just Oze's fine.
Oze fine. All right. I have Meghan in the studio with us, and online on Zoom we do have the one and only Derideen Dazi of Derideen. Where's Derideen? Okay, we have Derideen online. Derideen. Oh, fantastic, Derideen! Great to have you on online. And today we are.
I hope you guys.
I'm listening. Derideen?
I'm saying I hope you can see me. Yeah, can you see me?
I'll be seeing you shortly. I can hear you and I can see you as well. Okay. So it's fantastic having you with us today. Today we are talking about fintech, and we want to find out about both you, Derry, and so I'll start with Meghan. Meghan, tell us about yourself and how you ended up from US all the way here, not just here, but as well as in Guinea and in other African countries. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's always exciting to talk about fintech and all the work that's going on in Ghana and across the region. I started my work with small business owners and entrepreneurs in West Africa all the way back in 2011 in the Republic of Guinea, serving as a Peace Corps volunteer. And I ended up starting the country's first business accelerator. Mm-hmm. And it was this challenges in trying to take those businesses and get them from 0 to 1 and 1 to 10 and 10 to 100 that I realized that small business owners didn't have the tools that they need in order to succeed. And if somehow they could succeed, they couldn't get access to the capital that they needed to really grow their business, create wealth, and create jobs. And so over the past 10 years, I've been focusing on how to solve those problems. And the solution we've come up with is Oze. Okay.
Yeah. I see. Derideen, what about you? We've known each other, but not all my listeners and viewers know about you. So, Derideen, can you kindly tell us a bit about yourself and what the wonderful job Dream Oval is doing on the Ghanaian market and beyond?
Yeah, I'm comfortable. I heard something. My connection went off.
Forgive.
So if you could kindly ask again.
I was saying that, can you tell us, we know that the wonderful job you are doing at Dream Oval, and so can you tell us a bit about your journey from, you know, your Ashesi days, even now to where Dream Oval is doing great job here in Ghana and across the world?
Right. Yeah, so my name is Derideen, and I've been in the technology space as an entrepreneur for some time now. Previously used to run Dreamable, and Dreamable is a fintech which focuses on delivering payment value propositions within the fintech space. Dreamable currently, one of the platforms of Dreamable is SlidePay, and then now Billbox, and it has an international footprint in some African countries. I know that there's SlidePay, for example, is used in Zimbabwe now. Currently, what I do is I do a lot more of consulting, and then also have a new company called Heritage Labs, which focuses on helping businesses with their digital transformation, and we also build platforms as well. So that is my current journey, and I'm hoping that this conversation would give us opportunity to, or give me the opportunity to tell you more about some of the things that we are doing at Heritage Labs, and also contribute to the fintech conversation that we are come to have right now.
Wow. I think we need to do a catch-up, because I thought you were still at Dream Over, but here you are, you've moved and you've built a new baby. Great, and congratulations on that. So we would find out a little bit more about that. So sometimes I think I'm like a little baby, so I think sometimes I have to think like, you know, So when we say fintech, what are we talking about, Meghan?
So fintech is two words smushed together, right? It's finance or financial technology. So at its core, fintech is just anything that uses digital platforms, so software, apps, some things that companies use that you as a consumer would never interact with to move money around. So to make it easier to save, to make it easier to spend, to make it easier to access credit, to make it easier to invest in the stock market here and abroad. Fintech is basically just using technology to enable finance.
Right. So I was listening to this Berkeley, sorry, forgive me, University of Berkeley Business School lecturer, and he was talking about the fact that what the fintech has done is to basically take the whole financial industry, so even from insurance to banking to access to finance, like you're saying, and then bring in technological solutions to help the money, as you said, move around. Now, Dean, when you started Dream Over, did you start it as a fintech company or it kind of evolved? And how was that journey like?
Right. So the intent for Dream Over at the time was to build a fintech that enabled transactions over internet and also over mobile phones. One of the key things that drove us, I remember that the time, was that at the time we were blacklisted on I think on some of the payment platforms or some of the payment channels. It wasn't very how do you call it, easy for you to use a Visa card that was issued in Ghana to be able to make payment on the internet. So that was one of the key challenges that we faced. And then also, like now, PayPal was at the time gaining traction. But if you're from Ghana, you couldn't use your PayPal. You couldn't have a PayPal account. And that was the motivation for us to try and resolve that gap, within our society. So from our fintech nurturing started straight from the university. What we had in the mind of fintech was one of our founders, that is Claude's, the current CEO's project. So that was his thesis project. So that is how our fintech trajectory kicked off. So that is how it was, right? And I remember back in the day, for you to, for example, have a fintech solution or run a fintech service in Ghana, from a regulatory point of view, it wasn't that straightforward. You need to get some banks, you need to get banks to want to work with you. So you need to bring to the Bank of Ghana about 6 banks who want to work with you for you to be able to get the permission to run a fintech. The terrain, of course, has changed. At the time, I think one of the key things that we did first was integration was to integrate at the time it wasn't Airtel at the time, Zain at the time, to integrate into their mobile money service, to create a bridge between mobile money and the internet for e-commerce. So we started doing all this, trying to top up at the time we used to call it iWallet and not SlidePay, iWallet account with Airtel, I think it was Airtel Money at the time, right? To be able to make payments online. So that is how it used to be, but now the terrain has changed. Now we have better regulation, so the regulatory environment has vastly improved. So there's more predictability. You don't need to bring on 6 banks. You need to meet certain criteria or certain requirement, so that and then if you meet that criteria, you are in a position to get to connect into either of EMIs or dedicated electronic money issuers, or work through some of the existing PSPs, that is tier 1 or tier 2 PSPs, to be able to provide your fintech enabled service. So there's been a lot of improvement within the ecosystem over the past 10 years, and I think that now there's more opportunity for a lot of people to get in there and try to solve different kinds of problems, because it's not, payment is not the only problem within the fintech space. There are different enablement opportunities that people can provide, and that still contributes to financial inclusion, and then the how do you call it, DFS, or digital financial services onboarding. So there are different opportunities in there, and I think that now the terrain is even better for a lot of people. Yeah.
Fantastic. What I want to move from there is that you talked about opportunities that have opened up in the space, and the fact that there are different solutions that one can take advantage of. So therefore, Meghan, can you then unpack for us some of the opportunities that do exist in the financial sector, or the fintech space, and then Deridine will talk about how to take advantage of those opportunities that do exist. So what are some of the opportunities that does exist in the fintech space for us?
So I think there are maybe two broad categories of opportunities in the fintech space.
Too broad?
Yes.
Okay.
The first would be enablers.
Okay.
So these are fintech companies that you can think about it as the infrastructure that powers fintech.
Okay.
And then there's the consumer facing, or the small business facing, or the corporate facing application, which sits on top of that infrastructure and meets a need. So if I put it in the context of my own company, right? Oze is one of these second level players in that we've created infrastructure for small business owners. Sorry, we sit on top of infrastructure so that small business owners can keep digital records. They can turn that data into information. They can accept payments from their customers. They can apply for a loan, and they can get credit directly into their bank account. Now, we rely on many different infrastructure players to make that possible. We rely on technology companies that allow us to automatically send SMS to our customers so that they can have a secure account, right? We call it two-factor authentication.
Yeah.
So I know that no one else is taking my Oze account and applying for a loan. There are companies like Emergent Payments that allows our customers to receive money from their customers. So we provide the interface, and they provide the infrastructure.
Okay, so you have the interface people, you are the interface people, where if we put in marketing language, the front-facing guys.
Yes.
You are the people who meet the people who, you are the ones who meet Adwa, who just opened a Wache selling joint and comes in and says that instead of, if I don't need to accept all the money, so if somebody comes, the person has money on their wallet, they can send it through my Oze account, and I'll receive my money.
Yeah, and they can do Momo, Airtel Tigo, bank card, bank transfer, all the payments. And that's because the infrastructure that sits underneath our application allows for that. And I think the opportunity in Ghana is that there's still so much to do on both ends.
Okay.
So we've also built some of the infrastructure, because without building that infrastructure, there's no way for our large banking partners to digitally lend to our small business customers. If we were in maybe a more developed fintech ecosystem, if we just look over to Nigeria, some of the things that we've built, we would have just partnered with and worked with somebody. So I think if you're an entrepreneur looking to get into fintech, go talk to the big fintech players, whether they're infrastructure, and ask them, why are you building this? What do you hope to enable? And build something that can sit on top of it. Or go to the interface players and say, okay, what's your biggest headache? What are you building that you wish you could buy? And go build the piping underneath it. And I think those are the two main entry points into the industry right now.
I like the way you simplified it. You are in the infrastructure, or you are an enabler. I mean, let's see how. Sorry, you are either an infrastructure person, or you are somebody who does the interface. And let's see where you're doing. Deridine, are you still with us? Deridine, fantastic, fantastic. So Deridine, I asked you a question before I passed it, the Oze, I said Oze. Well, I guess you are Oze. No, you are Oze, because you started Oze. So I talked about what are the opportunities, and then I said I'd ask you, how does one take advantage of those opportunities, Deridine?
Right. So there are different ways to approach it, right? You can look at it from a point of view of value chain. So society have different value chains for different economic sectors. And you have to ask yourself, within that value chain, where does money move? Or what activity in there has something to do with money, right? And when you're able to figure that out, right, you can then be in a position to come up with different solutions or services that enables people to solve money-related problems digitally. So you can pick up a value chain like, let's say, health. When you talk about health, people go to the hospitals, they have to pay bills. People might want to buy health insurance. Within the hospital health delivery value chain itself, there are different services from labs to different things in there. So you can then come say, look, is that payment is a big problem, so I want to solve payment issues in the health space. Know that payment in that hospital payment chain have the pyramid, you have different segments. So you have people might live in the rural areas who might not even have the money to solve some of their health problems. So then you can build a solution within a fintech perspective that enables people, support people in distant communities who can, for example, afford health payments. So you can build a crowdfunding service. You can build something like GoFundMe, right? So solving payment situations or solving payment issues within an economic sector is not just the transactional ability of, the transaction dynamic, but also the social dynamics that surround a transaction. So Jose has a certain SME intervention that is put in place. There's a huge data gap when it comes to SMEs that prevents them from accessing financial credit, right?
Yeah.
So there's also this bit about a lot of informal SMEs who have no tool to collect data. And because of that, they can't go to a bank and collect a loan. So Jose now sit back and say, you know what, how do I fill that gap? Okay, let me build them the digital tools that enables them organize their operations better. And then through that operational organization, there are certain outcomes, right? They will get money from using the service, but they get data. And that data, they can then now go out there and talk to, let's say, microfinance companies and say, hey, microfinance, I have a lot of data of SMEs, and I want you to support them with funding, right? And the microfinance company now sees a new opportunity in them. Hitherto, the company didn't have enough data, right, to be able to support lending decisions. Now they have enough data from cash flow perspective, from invoices issues perspective, but the microfinance company say, okay, now I have a data interface to connect to be able to make lending decision assessment, right, for me to be able to give out loans. So that is how the how do you call it, the ecosystem is structured. You need to be able to think outside the box. You need to be able to think beyond just payment. You need to be able to see people and be able to segment people into different personas and see how certain financial, transactional, or enablement decisions can help improve the lives of the different segments that you put together. Then you can actually recognize opportunities, because there are opportunities in pensions, there are opportunities in insurance, there are opportunities in the agri-value chain. There are opportunities, if you pick that agri-value chain, there are different sectors in agri. There's a fish side of things, there's the animal side of things, there's the crop side of things, there's the tree crop side of things, there's tomato side of things. You can actually say, no, I want to support payment and the movement of money and receivables and anything, how do you call it, commodity solutions within that great value chain, and you can actually put together a product that fits just tomato farmers, right? And you're going to get probably like 500,000 customers. So you don't have to be it all within the ecosystem. You can actually
find a niche and work.
a niche and then work towards it.
Fantastic, fantastic. So Meghan, I was really piqued when you're talking about Ilse particularly, because I've been doing some engagements with an upcoming program that is targeting entrepreneurs. And it's targeting entrepreneurs, I mean, with the hope to create an entrepreneurial mindset and, you know, and a core that would bring people around the concept of entrepreneurship. So then if your Ose platform, and one of the things that they have been wondering, and one of the things that they are building or they are hoping to do, is that after the entrepreneurs have been given in the training, and they've also been giving support in terms of ensuring that their businesses are well defined, the business ideas are well defined. Even if you've been in business for 5 years, sometimes you need to, you know, kind of rethink and say, does this market still work? Do I meet my clients' needs and that kind of stuff? After we've been able to help you rethink your business and also find out what support you need, and then giving you that support. Maybe even, let's say you need to be certified by FDA and that kind of stuff. There's supposed to be a lending, and one of the things we want to make sure is that the lending that you're being given, you not only have the track record to pay back, but then you'll be able to give back that funding, so the fund will be able to remain in perpetuity. So here you are, you have an app that people have been using. How long have they been using it, and what kind of insights have you gained working with the SMEs in your space?
It's such an interesting space to work in and things to think about, because I came from entrepreneurship training. Like I came from more of the stand in front of the classroom, teach people how to go meet the customers where they are, solve their problems. And in that curriculum was simplified accounting and a cash book. And as technology evolves, you're asking yourself, it's 2022, why am I teaching somebody who can use WhatsApp, who can go on Instagram and TikTok, to now write their accounting in a book? But the other thing that I learned, because we come from that background, is that being successful in business is about so much more than the right tools. You need the right information, motivation, community, support, money. And so something about Ose, on the surface, we look like an accounting and a record-keeping platform. But if you get involved and you go one step lower, we're a community. So we provide business education to all of our users, daily business tips, and also daily motivational quotes. So we go find the most inspirational quotes from business leaders around Africa, around the world, and we wake you up with it in the morning. Because being an entrepreneur is hard. I got it to my office at 7 a.m. I left straight to come here. I had no breaks all day. So we give that motivation, we give that education. And you mentioned something like FDA. Getting FDA is not easy.
No, it's not.
But if you're an active Ose member, you're invited into the Ose community. So we have invite-only WhatsApp groups. And in all of those WhatsApp groups, there's someone who's been FDA certified recently. So you can ask Ose, how do I do it? You can also ask somebody, how did you do it? And we've actually provided loans to people to cover their FDA certification. And we've seen after they've done that, their businesses just zoom off. Boom. This one business owner, she took a loan for FDA certification. Her business basically doubled afterwards. Then she came back, she took another loan because now all the supermarkets wanted her products and she needed to stock up on her inventory.
And also improve her processes.
Yes, exactly. Improve the packaging, make sure everything would pass if the inspector came back. And so you can see what just a little bit of capital can do in a business. So I think that would be one of my first most important learnings, is actually that capital is incredibly catalytic. You can't give someone 10 CDs. I mean, yes, maybe someone can pull themselves by their bootstrap with 10 CDs, buy this, sell this, buy this, but we're looking to back entrepreneurs. So our minimum loan is 500 CDs. We go up to 30,000 CDs. What we see though is someone who takes 500 CDs might come back in 3 months and take 5,000 CDs, might come back in 6 months and take 20,000 CDs. And their cash flows have changed in such a way that it supports it. And we actually started lending during the stay-at-home order.
Yeah.
We won a $5,000 pitch competition from Harvard Business School, and we
Okay.
were like, okay,
let's
lend
use
this. And that, for the first year of lending, we just recycled it. A CD
Fantastic.
came in, a CD went back out, a CD.
Yeah.
And now we're working, I wish I could see the names, but we're working with some of the largest banks on the continent to not just have $5,000, but millions of dollars going out into the segment in the coming months. And so it will change the way that small businesses act in Ghana.
Wow. So how many people do you have on your app?
Right now, in the last month, we had 70,000 businesses using Oze. Here in Nigeria.
Okay.
But half.
But that's great. And then they're all, I mean, they're mostly thriving, because I know, especially, you know, some of them don't make it, and it's unfortunate, but that's just the rule of the thumb.
Yes.
The rule of the game. But once you know that you have learned something, you can still find some way to pivot and move to another business. You know, it's been a good learning.
The shocking thing is, so we can segment our customers. Those who are casual, they sometimes read the business tips, they sometimes record their sales, up to those who you can tell it's really everyday in and out. If we look at those everyday entrepreneurs, 97% of them on our platform are growing, profitable, or both.
97%?
97%. I had to do the math twice.
No. That is insane.
Because data leads to good business decisions.
I know, right?
And if you have taken in that practice of like, I'm ready to be serious, I'm going to keep my records, you have the data, you have the information, you have the motivation. And the other crazy thing is, even though we started lending in Ghana's stay-at-home order, so rough economy, we have a 0% default rate. So you give money to these businesses, they pay it back.
I love that. With that, we'll go on a break. We are going to on the game changer break. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere, because I love what I'm hearing from Meghan and Deridine Dazi. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Today's game changer involves two scenarios. In the first, two developers working late are frustrated by the lack of dinner options and the ordering process. They have a light bulb moment and decide to build an online food ordering app. Fast forward 17 years, and today, Grubhub is worth over $4 billion. Our second story involves an employee of a communication startup. He's dating long distance, and he's tired of traveling 10 hours to see his partner every time. He also has a light bulb moment and built an easy-to-use video calling platform to connect with his lover. Today, that app connects lovers, students, and businesses worldwide. You might know it as Zoom. So far, we have 3 founders, 2 companies, and 1 unique mindset that made it all possible. Today, our game changer is spotting opportunity. While Zoom and Grubhub serve very different purposes, they have one thing in common. Their founders had problems and spotted opportunity within them. One set of founders was hungry and built a way to connect people to food. The other was lonely and created a means to connect people around the world. By solving problems, both companies created opportunities and billions for their founders. So how can we spot the opportunities in our own lives? Step 1, assess the problems in your environment. Step 2, consider how current solutions can be improved. And step 3, see where your skill set can be applied to create value. I leave you with a quote from Vinod Khosla. Any problem is an opportunity. The bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. This has been the Game Changer with Jojo Okran. Have a phenomenal week.
Welcome back. That was Jojo giving us a phenomenal week with spotting opportunities. And I like the way lovers are connected via Zoom.
I've only done business meetings. Nothing so exciting as lovers connecting.
I wonder what happened to the Facebook Live. No, Facebook. That's anyway. But anyway, all the other platforms that we have for video calls. But right now, Zoom has really zoomed off. You know. So, Deridine, what do you think of Jojo's Game Changer?
Jojo makes some very simplified the process very well. And key thing here from what Jojo did was that he said something very significant. You know, GrabHub is not equal to Zoom. That means that ideas themselves should not be the same. Or you shouldn't, for example, when you see a Zoom, you shouldn't always want to do exactly like Zoom, right? There are other dynamics around Zoom that is around video conferencing or virtual meeting enablement that you can look at. The key thing is that always try to focus the value proposition on a segment, on a viable segment, right? And you'll come up with good ideas. And I can give you different examples. For example, there was Facebook, Facebook text, picture, video. Then Instagram came, did only picture, right? So Facebook was doing almost everything. Instagram took a bit of that thing and they made it better, right? Snapchat came in, took a bit of the video dynamic, added a new value proposition on vanishing videos, and then boom, they made it better. So there's really nothing new under the sun. So anybody who is looking for ideas, don't think that you're going to get something extraordinary or extraordinarily different. What you need to do is figure out how you shape or sculpt your idea into that viable and valuable product or outcome, right? So don't.
Fantastic.
I think that sometimes people overstretch themselves when they want to think of something. Oh, I don't have any idea. Somebody did this already. And you can always add one notch, because note that for every product, there are different segments of people who will interact with the product in different ways. So look for that segment of people that will interact with your product in a way that you can afford to provide that service. And then you can get your 10,000 clients. When you get your 10,000 clients, you can make some money and then you either or go into a different segment or build a new proposition around the same segment. So the education from what Joe did, I like what he did, very cool, without even voice, a strategic Mr. Bean approach. And you know, and I think that how do you call it? A lot those who, I don't know how many people are watching, but people who are watching should pick a leaf from that chapter and then run with it. Right.
Thank you so much, Jerry. That was an interesting take from, and I think that brings us to we're talking about fintech and opportunities that exist in the fintech when we spoke about that, and so now. Are there any, Meghan, can you tell us, somebody has spotted an opportunity, but by any miracle, are there any challenges in fintech? And if you tell me no, I will not believe it, because as a human enterprise, there must be some challenges.
There are so many challenges in fintech.
Tell us more.
So I think Derry Dean has been around much longer than I have been in this space. And so he sees a lot of improvements in the regulatory landscape. Someone who started 3 years ago, I see a lot of improvements yet to come. So starting a fintech is one of the most expensive types of businesses you can start in Ghana. If you aren't careful about how you partner or what segment you go after, you could be looking at massive capital requirements. That you need to go park with the Bank of Ghana just to get started. So you can do something small under the radar, but as soon as you start getting traction, you might need to go and get a microfinance license, or you might need to become a payment service provider license. Paystack, I'm sure everyone knows them. They made a lot of noise when they came to Ghana, I think 3 years ago. They just announced today they got their license. They were acquired by Stripe, which is one of the most valuable companies in the world. So they have deep pockets, like their pockets reach to the floor.
They reach the floor.
Into the basement even. And so they can survive 3 years to get the license they need to operate in Ghana. A small startup can't necessarily. So one is you have to really do your research. You have to reach out to people like Derry Dean, reach out to people in fintech and understand where are the barriers to entry high and where are the barriers to entry surmountable.
So you let a little open the curtain a little. Where are the high barriers?
So if you want to do anything with payments, the barriers are really high, really expensive. If you want to do anything with credit, they're even higher, even more expensive. So our path to market was, we didn't call ourselves a fintech for our first years of life. We would say we're small business software because we're record keeping and we collected a lot of information about money, but we didn't move money around. When we started getting into lending, we just enabled financial institutions to lend to our customers. And now when we started getting into payments, we allow PSPs, payment service providers, to reach customers. So we've taken a very intentional standpoint to say, we're building a Pan-African company, and so we can't park 200,000 CDs here, 200,000 CDs there. We need to use that for talent. We need to use that for marketing. And so let's find a path through the regulatory landscape where we can respect the laws, fall like squarely into the bounds of what we're allowed to do, but not have to fall under one of the regulatory umbrellas or rules. We had to get one, but it's a very low one where they don't have capital requirements. But that in itself was still very expensive to get.
Right. So that's where thinking outside the box, as Derideen said, comes into play, especially if you're trying to do. So Derideen, one of the things that we hear a lot, being bandied about, is this thing about blockchain and digital wealth management. Derideen, can you unpack that a little for us?
Right. So, society evolves. Society evolves in different ways, and at any point in time, people are finding more optimal ways of solving the same problems, right? And one of the key things that has happened within the payment ecosystem is so this whole idea of blockchain, this whole idea of NFTs, this idea of extending financial management and making it even more secure and more optimized using digital technology. And how do you call it? Over here in Ghana, there are different applications of the same things of blockchain, but it's not very prevalent because when we think blockchain, everybody pivots or start going towards cryptocurrency, right? Even though cryptocurrency leverages an element of blockchain to deliver its value to people who patronize. Blockchain is different it's quite different and can be applied in different ways, right? So one of the key things that we talk about when we talk about blockchain, without trying to lecture, is distributed ledger, that there are different blocks of people who can then verify specific transactions. So the transaction delivery process is not centralized. It's not one person who is delivering that transaction delivery process, but that delivery process has different participants who all hold different components of a block, right? And then through that process, there's a higher level of verifiability. And if the whole chain does not accept or does not verify a certain block,
of it,
then you know that transaction may not go through. So that is that dimension, and because of that perspective, that blockchain perspective can be applied to different value propositions, including, in Ghana here we have land issues. Right. So one of the active projects that are going on is how to use a blockchain technology to resolve some of our land ownership issues that we have in our part of the world. And we are using it in different ways, from even blockchain from a point of view of digital asset or crypto assets. There's a term for it that's eluded me, for investment, for climate change management, and other dynamics. And when it comes to the wealth side, a I think wealth management and financial technology, I mean, go hand in hand. One of the key things that right now we are seeing is that we are seeing a lot of wealth management applications or platforms and apps that are enabling people have open access to financial asset that hitherto was only available in certain geographical jurisdictions. So right now, from here in Ghana, I could afford to participate in the American financial market through some applications.
Right.
From over here, you can invest in different digital assets from a digital asset perspective. Buy crypto. So there's so many things that are going on from a wealth management point of view. So that's one. And then there's the other set of wealth management or deployment of DFS from a perspective of advisory, where because of the data that has been enabled to be collected within the financial transactions sphere, it is now easy for people or for systems to help you make decisions. So you can look at your financial activity, look at the data available, and then advise you. An algorithm will advise you that based on what we are seeing, based on your behavior, this is what we are thinking. We are thinking the market is going to go this way, so you can try, or if you're interested, this is where you can go. So fintech, financial technology goes beyond transactions. You're also looking at advisory. You are looking at access to market. You are looking at operations management using digital tools or financial operations management. We are looking at record keeping from a financial perspective. We are looking at compliance technology from a financial perspective. We are looking at regulatory technology. So we are looking at sandboxes. So within this ecosystem, there are different layers of services and capabilities that exist.
That really brings out a very interesting question for me, Meghan. And he's talked about these things, but what you would realize is that if we bring in enough technology, we kind of absorb all these works that human beings are doing. So kind of we take the human element out of that space. So what impact will it have for young bankers or bankers who ordinarily would have been in the office doing those jobs, or the operations person who would have been the one ensuring that things are going seamlessly? What are the prospects for such people? How can do they reskill themselves? What do they do with the evolution and explosion of fintech?
I would say, okay, so you're a young person working in a bank. Try to stay abreast of what's going on. Pick a lane. Get really interested in the blockchain and its applications to contracting. Get really interested in crypto. Get really interested in NFTs. Pick something, or understand your regulatory landscape and make friends with the regulators. And then, if you're not ready to be an entrepreneur and make that leap, but you want to stay in the banking world, to stay relevant, advocate for those new technologies in the bank. Because of the products that I sell into banks, so the ability to end-to-end digitize their lending to micro and small enterprises, I do interface with MDs all the time. But it's not like an MD and then like a 52-year-old. It's like the MD and a 30-year-old. Because that's who's comfortable with using a machine learning algorithm to predict the credit risk of a micro, small, medium enterprise, right? And so the beginning of my career, I was an innovation strategy consultant. I was 22, flying all around the world and sitting in boardrooms and meeting with the top people of massive companies that you would know. And I felt like it was the one industry where being 22 was an asset and not a liability, right? Because innovation, we look to the youth for innovation. And so I'd say embrace that technology. Some jobs might be going away, right? When ATMs came, then maybe we needed less tellers. But we see the next thing on top of that in the rural areas, we're not putting ATMs. we're putting agencies,
Okay.
agency banking.
Yeah.
Right? So we're replacing a machine in Accra with a human being out in Wa. Right? So some jobs are being destructed, some jobs are being created.
But you just have to tool yourself to be
Exactly.
ready for the job that is being created.
And there's so many new jobs in tech that develop expertise in, because the great thing about tech jobs is that most of the learning of how to do them is also online, right?
Okay.
So if you want to learn how to become a digital marketer who can run great Facebook ads, you can learn that online. And then you'll be highly valuable to all the startups in the technology space. If you want to learn how to be a UI UX designer, that's something that you can go out from people, you can learn online, create a portfolio. And yes, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's very hard for someone to get their first job, but these are skills that you can build and talents you can demonstrate, and then send emails, knock on doors, say I'll do a demonstration project, say I'll do an internship. And eventually, if you're talented, you'll be let in, because the appetite for these tech companies to hire these specific digital skills are massive. So if you're here, you're doing the work, you're demonstrating growth and learning, you have a future for yourself that's probably bigger than your wildest dreams.
Fantastic. Well, Meghan has ended up on us on a very positive note, that you have a dream, you have a future that is bigger than your wildest dreams. I mean, believe it or not, our fintech space has ended. It is not supposed to end, because I just read that MTN has bought a space in the metaverse. So who knows? Maybe our next discussion will be about the metaverse. and Deridine will do us a great job, and Meghan or any other person that we bring here to make us understand and unpack the issues that are there, will be able to help us out. So all too soon, we've come to the end of today's program. I just want to remind you that on Sunday, I hope you can watch this again. On Sunday as well, at 7 p.m., Reverend Albert Okran will be coming your way with Sir Kwame Boateng, and they'll be talking about Sir Kwame Boateng, his journey on joy, and how it has been very impactful for his life. Don't miss it at 7 p.m. on Joy, and don't miss it as well at 5 p.m. on Joy Prime on Monday evening. So, my crew who make this happen every single day have been amazing as usual. And you, for watching us today, you made this program a very, very top one. We are grateful, and we'll see you again next week, Thursday, without any fail, live and colored, and we're talking about entrepreneurship. I can see Meghan trying to, but she's a mega entrepreneur. So till we come away again next week, we love you. All the best. Have a fantastic week. You love you. Bye.
Turn around. Turning point. Yeah. He's a turn around. For so long, we've been here. We've been trying to break free. Chains that hurt us in our minds. But no more. This is a turning point. Searching, the light has come. He's a return around. Come on, turn around. No delays. Time to move on. He's a return around. Where we are, where we going? Wrong decisions, wrong direction. Time to make the right changes. Whoa, come on, Africa. This is the turning point. Oh, searching. turn around. Hey, come on, Mama Africa. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Here's where we turn around. Ooh. Hey. Time to move on. Here's where we turn around. There are too many voices speaking nothing but lies. Yes, they are. It is time to hear the one voice, one voice. It's the voice of truth, voice of truth. Woo. No more searching. The light has come. Here's where we turn around. Oh, Africa. Oh, Africa, we gotta turn around, yeah. Sons of Africa, daughters of Africa, make the change, make the right changes now. Here's where we turn. No more, no more, no more. Ooh, come on, make the changes. Hey. Come on, make the changes from Algeria to Zimbabwe, yeah, yeah, yeah. We got to make it now. We got to change now. Make the right changes. Ooh. Come on, sons and daughters of Africa. From Algeria to Zimbabwe, yeah. Here's where we turn around. Here's where we turn around. Make that change, turn around.